2024 for the first meeting of the Missoula Board of County Commissioners. I'd like to call this meeting to, well, should I even be chairing or should you be?
No, you're doing
Okay, this is Dave Strohmeyer here. I'll call this meeting to order, and please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Justice for all.
I just pulled some cobwebs down there because I knew if you saw that, you would not. Oh, I like that. I removed.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Missoula County acknowledges this event takes place in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people. And do we have a public announcement here?
Just closed captioning. Hello, everyone. If you are joining us for this meeting virtually today, instructions for turning on closed captioning are on your screen. If you are joining us in person, we will have, there's nobody in the building except us, have closed captioning on all the screens here in Sophie Mui's room. And we also have assisted listening devices available. Please come to me if you would like an assisted listening device, and we will get one for you. We ask that all speakers today, please remember to speak slowly and clearly during the meeting. This helps with the accuracy of closed captioning. There will be multiple chances during the meeting for public comment virtually. During those times, if you would like to speak, we ask that you use the raise hand feature. If you are on Microsoft Teams, this is a small hand button. If you are calling in on the phone, you will need to hit *5 to raise your hand. Then once called on, you will need to hit *6 to unmute. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Is there any public comment on items not on today's agenda? And if you're joining online and would like to comment, please use the raise hand function, and we'll call on you in the order in which you raise your hand. Any public comment on items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move on. Our current claims list, and this would reflect claims received as of December 5th through December 22nd, 2023 by the Commissioner's Office, total $5,800,300.59. We have a number of public hearings today on resolutions that will be presented by our county CAO, Chris Lonsberry, and we'll begin with a resolution appointing someone. I'm on the edge of my chair right now, but appointing someone as the 2024 chair of the Missoula Board of County Commissioners. Chris.
Thank you, Commissioners. So just as a reminder for folks out there, every year by state law, the Commission is required to pass a number of resolutions setting different priorities for the county this year. And so we will go through those one at a time here. But the first one, as Commissioner Strohmeyer alluded to for 2024, is that the Board of County Commissioners needs to adopt and appoint a chair for the calendar year 2024. And so the Montana Code annotated in section 7.4.2109 requires that the county commissioners must elect one of their members to be its presiding officer. Missoula County has traditionally had a rotation, which would put Commissioner Strohmeyer as the chair for this year, but the commission may technically appoint anyone that they would choose. And so with that, Commissioners, I'd ask you to take public comment, and then there's a recommended motion on your screen.
Thank you, Chris. Is there any public comment on this motion to appoint someone, perhaps myself, as chair of the Missoula Board of County Commissioners for the 2024 calendar year? Seeing no public comment.
I move to adopt a resolution appointing Dave Strohmeyer as chair of the Missoula County Board of County Commissioners for calendar year 2024.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I guess I can stay in this seat for the balance of the meeting. Chris, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners. So our next one is that every year we must establish the location where we will publish public notices for the actions that will be taken by the Board of County Commissioners. This is in addition to our requirement to publish these in newspapers and other locations, but we must have at least one physical location where we will post those notices, according to Montana Code Annotated 7.1.21.23. And historically, Missoula County has used the administrative building located at 199 West Pine Street in Missoula as the location that we do that, and we post those just inside the main entrance on one of the bulletin boards in the lobby area. And so the recommendation from staff this year is to continue that location. So I would ask that you take public comment to see if anyone would suggest a different location, but otherwise there is a recommended motion that includes designating 199 West Pine, the county administrative building, as the location for postings.
Is there any public comment on this resolution designating 199 West Pine as the location for such postings? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Yes, I would move to adopt a resolution designating 199 West Pine, the county administrative building, as the official location for the posting of public notices.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seems like a somewhat antiquated resolution, but anyway, back to you, Chris.
There are a few that we have to go through here, but we're rolling right along through them. So the third one that we must adopt annually here is that we must set the dates and times for your public meetings. Missoula County has had a long tradition of having your public meetings, which are what we're at today, on the first, second, and fourth Thursday of each month, located here in the Sophie Moise Room. And then in addition to that, you have department meetings as well as administrative meetings, which are posted on your calendar and publicly noticed. And that is because of Montana Code 752122, which requires that the governing body establish by resolution a regular meeting date and notify the public of that date. And so I would ask that you take public comment, and then you have a recommended motion to adopt the resolution specifying the regular meeting dates and times for your public meetings.
Is there any public comment on this resolution?
I move to adopt, oops, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll-
No,
I'll wait to.
there was just a slight pregnant pause there, and so move right ahead.
Okay, I move to adopt the resolution specifying the regular meeting date and notifying the public of those dates.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Back to you, Chris.
All right, and so our fourth, oops,
What are you gonna
gonna change.
research?
There
That
goes
was
our
not-
fourth. Our fourth one is before you today. Would ask that you adopt a resolution specifying the office hours for other elected county officials. And so Montana Code 74102 requires that each officer of the county shall keep their officer's office open for transactions of business during the office hours determined by the governing body by resolution after a public hearing, and only in the consent of the other public officials that these are set for. And so I did reach out to all of the elected officials. All of them agreed that they would like to continue the practice that we have had, which is that office hours will be Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, except legal holidays. And so I would ask that you open a public hearing, take any public comment for folks who might like to have different hours, and then adopt a resolution setting the office hours as Monday through Friday, except in the circumstances of legal holidays or emergency circumstances, or to meet the needs of a department.
Thank you. Any public comment on this resolution? Okay, we'll close that public hearing.
All right, I would move to adopt the resolution setting office hours. Oh. No worries. I would move to adopt the resolution setting office hours as Monday through Friday for 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., except in circumstances of legal holidays, emergency circumstances, or to meet the needs of the department.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Back to you, Chris.
You bet. And our last resolution that needs to be adopted is to set the daily rate for credit for incarceration. And so basically this means that when somebody is incarcerated in our detention facility, they get credit for the time that they serve in that facility in a dollar amount that can be used against their fines. And so the Sheriff's Department goes through and looks at the cost of the detention facility and then figures out what that number should be. And so Montana Code annotated 46-18-403 requires that a person incarcerated on a bailable offense must be allowed credit for each day of incarceration prior to or after their conviction. And so we have gone through and done those calculations with the help of the Sheriff's Office, and we're recommending setting a rate of $125 per day for calendar year 2024. And there's a recommendation, a proposed recommendation, or a recommended motion, in at the bottom of the screen for you.
What was it for last year?
So it is actually down slightly. Last year it was $141, and that's just based on varying costs and the amount of folks who are in our detention facility at any given moment. And so it's a complex formula set in both statute and administrative rule that we use, and then the number that's generated at the end becomes the number for this year.
Okay, so the calculation is established by statute and administrative rule and is not arbitrarily and capriciously come up with by Missoula County. Okay. Any public comment on this resolution? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that public hearing.
To adopt the resolution setting the daily rate for credit for incarceration for 2024 at $125 per day.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And with that, commissioners, you have adopted all of the yearly resolutions that you must adopt at your first public meeting.
Nice.
Okay,
Thanks, Chris.
thank you. Moving from those standard beginning of the year resolutions to a rezoning request. Jenny Dixon, Barron's Court.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to share my screen for a rezoning request requested by Don and Vicky Rossetti at the location 9399 Barron's Court. This gives you an somewhat of an indication of the proximity to the Y. It's about a mile north of the Y on the west side of the Highway 93. It's about 11 acres. And the proposal is to rezone from AGRR 5 to AGRR 2. The adjacent zoning in the area is AGRR 2, which is the zone that the Rossettis are requesting. And that both of these districts actually are supported by the land use element. Staff is recommending approval of the request. This map shows you at the top the land use designation for a large portion of the area in the Y is for rural, residential, and agricultural. And the bottom map shows you the zoning that implemented that plan. That zoning was adopted in 2022. This property was previously unzoned. And now, because the property, and it may not show up very well, but this one property is zoned differently than everything else around it. And the applicants are requesting that their property be zoned as the properties around it are to AGRR 2. We did not receive any adverse agency comment. And we also have to date not received any public comment on this request. Staff recommends approval, as I said, and Planning Board conducted a public hearing on this on December 5th and voted 8-0 to recommend approval. And this is the motion should you decide to, and I'll make that I'm gonna make that smaller, but should you decide to approve it, here's your motion.
Okay, thanks, Jenny. Are the Rossettis on the line, or do you have an applicant's representative who would like to speak to this?
I believe I saw one of the Rossettis, Vicky or Don, or maybe both, are on the line.
Vicky or Don would either, oh, Vicky, go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Vicky.
So I don't know if you have any questions for us. I think Jeannie did a very good job describing what's going on. I think there was a miscommunication at one of the public meetings when we were discussing this last year, and we had requested that the whole area be zoned for 5 acres instead of 2. And I think there was a miscommunication, and they thought that we wanted just our property 5, but we wanted the whole area to be 5, not knowing that there was already this rezoning plan in place. And so that's why we're requesting is to just have our property match the surrounding.
Okay, thank you. And that was, for the record, Vicky Rossetti.
Yes.
Oh, but
Thank you.
it looks like, oh,
Is
gotcha.
there any other public comment on this proposed rezoning? Okay, we will close the public hearing. Any questions from the commission or a motion?
I would move to approve the request to rezone property located at 9399 Barron's Court, legally described as parcel 72C, COS number 2339, based on the application, public testimony, and the findings of facts and conclusions of law contained in the staff report.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, Vicky and Dawn. And thanks, Jenny.
Thank you, commissioners. I would just mention that this action allows you enables you to adopt a resolution of intent, which will then be published, and in 30 days take action to adopt in a final form. So you'll see this again.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we never lose an opportunity to see things again if necessary. So, but I don't think anyone needs to sit on pins and needles for that one. So, okay, moving back to Chris, we have another final resolution opening up a public hearing today. And this would be a hearing for an election of conducting a local government review and elect a study commission. Chris.
Thanks, Commissioner. So yes, I'm asking for you to open a public hearing today. One of the wonderful things about the Montana Constitution is that when it establishes local governments, it also gives citizens the right to go back and review the work that is done by those local governments and the form of government that might be adopted. And so Missoula County currently operates under the commission form of government. And one of the questions that we are required by law to put out every 10 years to the public is whether they would like to review that and consider whether a different form of government might be appropriate. And so today what you would be doing is opening a public comment period for folks on the ballot question that will appear before them during the November general election of this year. We have to adopt this resolution by February of this year as part of the requirements. And what it does is set the ability for the populace to vote on whether there will be a local government review and study commission. We are recommending this year that it be comprised of at least 3 members that would be then on the ballot and be elected from the populace at large. And we are also recommending that the county place on there the cost of running that local government study, which we are estimating over the 2-year period, including both their work and then if there are educational materials that need to be printed for the populace, should there be a ballot question to change the form of government, at approximately $200,000 or roughly $500,000.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I will open it at this point. Is there any public comment on this resolution? Okay, the public hearing will remain open until we take this up again. Is there any other business to come before the commission today? Seeing none, we will be adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.